Hey everyone, and welcome back. This time of year always gets me thinking, like, why are we so into the spooky stuff? The mysterious, the kind of macabre?
Yeah, for sure.
So let's ditch those plastic pumpkins for a bit, okay? Let's get real. Dive deep into Halloween's origins. We're going to explore those rituals and traditions, the global ones, that show us how different cultures have dealt with those big questions about life and death and everything in between.
And what's really interesting is that even though we might celebrate differently these days, we still see traces, echoes of those super old beliefs in how we do Halloween now.
It really is like looking at this old faded tapestry or something. We see the pumpkins and costumes, sure, the familiar images. But when you get closer, really look, you uncover all these intricate threads, and they connect us back through time. So let's start with the big one, shall we? The granddaddy of Halloween, if you will. Samhain. Celebrated by the Celts, what, thousands of years ago?
Thousands, yeah.
You've probably heard the name, but have you ever actually thought about why they celebrated like that?
It was about way more than bonfires and costumes, that's for sure. I mean, Samhain was the end of the harvest season, right?
Right.
And the start of winter, which back then meant...
That's a very different thing.
Oh yeah, darkness, the unknown. Survival wasn't exactly a guarantee back then.
It really puts those trick-or-treating offerings in a whole new light, doesn't it? It wasn't about kids and candy, not at all. This was serious business. Appease the powers that be, get through the dark half of the year alive.
Just exactly. Survival. And those costumes, forget fashion, those were practical. The Celts believed that during Samhain, the line between our world and the spirit world, it got blurry. Spirits could cross over. So disguises, they helped you blend in, avoid being spotted by a spirit who might want to cause some trouble.
Ancient camouflage. Such a trip compared to today. Right. Now we use costumes to stand out, to get noticed. But still, that human need to touch something beyond us, talk to the unseen world, that never goes away.
It's constant.
And speaking of connections, let's jump from the ancient Celts to something a bit more modern. Something vibrant we still see today. Dia de los Muertos, down in Mexico.
And even though it's around the same time as Halloween, Dia de los Muertos has a completely different take on death. There's no fear here, not really. It's about welcoming back the spirits of loved ones, celebrating their lives and the memories you have.
And you see that so clearly with the ofrendas, those colorful altars covered in offerings for the returning spirits.
Yeah.
But it's not just random stuff they put out, right?
No, not at all. Each thing on the ofrenda has a meaning, a purpose. You'll see food and drinks that the deceased loved in life, photos, mementos, all to spark those memories.
Right.
And of course, you've got your sugar skulls, your marigolds, all symbolic.
It's that detail, that caretaking and remembering them that makes Dia de los Muertos so special,
Yeah.
And those sugar skulls, they're like the symbol of the holiday now, wouldn't you say?
For sure. And they really show that mix of celebration and remembrance, right? Bright colors, intricate designs on the skulls, all that's about the vibrancy of life. But then actually eating the sugar skull, it's about accepting death, that it's just a part of the whole cycle.
That's a powerful way to look at it. Not being afraid of death, but embracing it, finding the beauty in life and loss. But as big as Dia de los Muertos is, it's just one way people honor their dead around the world. Let's head east now, shall we? Over to Japan, they've got a festival called Obon. What's that all about? Now, Obon, it's not tied to October 31st like, the other stuff we've talked about. It happens in the summer. But like Dia de los Muertos, it's about this really welcoming feeling towards ancestral spirits.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Imagine this. Families get together, they're lighting these lanterns, right? That soft glow, it's guiding the spirits of loved ones back home. Then you've got the Bonadori dances.
Oh, I've heard of those.
Yeah. So the movements, it's all about celebrating, honoring those who are gone. It's joyful. Connection, not fear.
So not hiding from spirits, not even like trying to calm them down with offerings. It's celebrating them coming back, sharing in life, continuing.
That's it, like a big happy family reunion, but with that spiritual side.
I like it.
And you know how Halloween in the US has, it's changed over time, right? For sure, up on too. They've got some modern stuff mixed in now, so you might see parades, these colorful floats, people in costumes based on old folklore, this cool blend of then and now.
That's so interesting how traditions, they can adapt, evolve, but the heart of it stays.
Yeah.
It says something about us, I think, that need to be part of something bigger, to remember where we came from, find meaning in the whole life and death cycle. Speaking of which, Halloween here in the U.S. It's wild how much of it is from all these different places, Celtic roots, immigration waves, the whole thing. It's a real melting pot, yeah. Like trick-or-treating.
Okay. Yeah.
It goes back to that ancient thing of like giving food to spirits to keep them happy.
Yeah.
But it's also got ties to Europe, medieval times, kids going door to door, singing or praying for some food or coins. Crazy how it all weaves together, right? But come on, we got to talk about it. Halloween in the U.S. is, well, it's a business.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. Costumes, candy, decorations, it's a lot. But even with all that, the deeper stuff is still there, you know? That idea of connecting with what we don't understand, honoring those who've died. It's just, sometimes it's hidden under a pile of plastic spiders and candy corn.
Right. Like we took those ancient worries, bad harvests, darkness, all that, and made it a fun, slightly spooky holiday. We've come a long way from, desperately trying to please the spirits to just dressing up for the fun of it. But that pull toward the mystery, that feeling that there's something more out there,
Yeah.
still with us.
Absolutely.
And we've covered some of the famous Halloween stuff from around the world, but there's so much more out there. Hidden gems, rituals, celebrations that really surprise you.
Oh, for sure. You ready for a quick trip around the world, see some lesser-known Halloween traditions?
Always. Love a good adventure, especially if it means learning something new. Where are we headed first?
Let's start in Romania. Vampires, gothic vibes, Dracula's backyard.
You can't go wrong with Dracula, right? But most people, they don't realize there's a real guy behind this story.
Vlad the Impaler, brutal dude, 15th century. And his castle in Transylvania, Bran Castle, it's become like the spot for a spooky Halloween trip.
That's wild. You've got history, legend, that whole creepy atmosphere all in one place. But let's get away from spooky castles for a sec, go somewhere where it's more about remembering loved ones.
Okay, yeah. How about the Philippines? They've got this tradition, Pangangalua, happens right around Halloween.
Pangalua, what is that?
Kind of like caroling, but instead of Christmas songs, they're going door to door singing for the dead. Specifically, souls that are stuck in purgatory, they believe.
Wow, so it's like offering comfort, prayers for the dead.
That's it. They think by singing these songs, they help the souls find peace. And maybe get some blessings for themselves, too. It's really beautiful how different cultures see the afterlife, and that need to remember.
It really shows that even though these traditions, they might look different from the outside, the core of it, wanting to connect with something beyond us, honor those who came before, it's universal. We all feel that.
Yeah.
So where to next on our little world tour of traditions?
Let's hop over to Italy. Families there, they prepare these huge feasts on Halloween.
Feasts? That doesn't sound very spooky.
Well, it's a celebration, in a way. But here's the thing. They set extra places at the table for the loved ones who are gone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like a way to say they're still there, still part of the family.
It's like, they're not really gone, Still there in spirit. Makes you think about how we hold on to the memory of people, all the different ways.
Yeah, it really does. It's like all these traditions, right? From Samhain all the way back then to Dia de los Muertos now, the stuff in the Philippines, Italy. It's all, well, it's that human thing, isn't it? Wanting something more, something bigger than us, finding the meaning and life ending, starting over.
And it's kind of amazing, don't you think, how these ideas, they're still around. Even now, when, well, a lot of us, we don't live the same way those ancient cultures did. Might not believe in spirits literally crossing over or souls needing help to find their way. But that pull, that mystery, there's something there, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's like deep down in us, part of being human. And Halloween, it's got those old roots, but it changes depending on where you go. It gives us that space, that outlet to think about these things, even if it's just through, scary movies and putting on a costume.
Like we took all that old fear, the anxiety about what we couldn't control, and turned it into something fun, something to celebrate, even laugh at a little. We've come a long way from leaving food out for spirits to, dressing up in a goofy costume just because. But
yeah,
that fascination with what we don't know, that feeling that we're connected to something bigger, it's never really gone away.
It hasn't. And, as we go through Halloween this year, whether you're, carving pumpkins, eating too much candy, or just like noticing how things are changing, the leaves and all, take a second, think about what really gets to you about all this. What are these traditions, the stories, what do they tell us about being human, I guess?
It's a good question to ask yourself. What part of it speaks to you? What traditions do you feel connected to? And why? This has been amazing, exploring all this with you all. Ancient celts to modern celebrations all over the world. It's incredible, the things that tie us together, to the past, to different cultures, to each other, really. Thanks for coming along on this deep dive with us, and until next time, keep exploring, keep wondering, and don't let those spooky lights go out.